What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new Game Stock Car Extreme update version 1.20, which adds in some free content to all owners of Game Stock Car Extreme. We're going to start off here at the Spielberg circuit, driving the, well, aptly named Formula Extreme, because this thing is extreme. Later on in the video, we'll drive the Formula V at Buenos Aires. Yeah, this update adds in a Formula Extreme, which is certainly not a 2014 F1 car, and a Formula V, which is basically a Volkswagen Beetle minus the rest of the Beetle. Yeah, that's covering the bases right there. The speed, man. Oh boy, this thing is just crazy fast. It's insane. It's actually probably quite a bit faster than the real world cars, because they state that the ERS is not working as they would necessarily like, which means that the battery is always charged and putting out full power assistance, which can make accelerating out of corners a little bit trickier than what it probably should be if you wanted to be entirely super realistic. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure everyone watching this video is saying more power equals more good. I have to say, this circuit, it's one of my favorite on the Formula 1 calendar. I remember actually back with the Sports Car Challenge mod for Formula 1 Challenge 99 to 2002. Switching gears there a little bit. Just doing endless laps around here in the Audi R8. So this is a circuit that's been a favorite of mine for a while. And it's definitely, at least in my opinion, the best looking circuit in this engine ever. And this is an engine that has been around for a while, and well, you know, Riza Studios has done an amazing job with it, and it still puts out a very good experience. Also new in this update, there are now rules to support this car. Tire rules, DRS, things that you would expect. This thing is just too fast. I can't keep up with it. It's just crazy, man. So we'll go ahead and use that DRS. As you can see there in the rear view mirror, if you take a look, you'll notice that the rear flap has opened. Gotta say, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of this car, which shouldn't be surprising. I'm just not a huge fan of these cars. They're just too dang quick for my taste, for my driving enjoyment. You know, it's not that there's anything wrong with the car or anything like that, and I think it's cool to have a car like this in Game Stock Car, and I think a lot of people will definitely like it. So use our DRS there again, but you know, it's just not my thing. But you know, if you've driven Game Stock Car Extreme before, this feels like a Game Stock Car Extreme version of a Formula 1 car, of a current Formula 1 car. You know, obviously there will have to be compromises and things like that, you know, such as the ERS, like I mentioned earlier, putting out full power. I mean, these cars nowadays are so technological and everything like that, that it's going to basically be pretty much best guess when it comes to simulating them. which I'm going to say that there's probably nobody watching this video who's actually driven a 2014 F1 car in anger before. So really, what does it matter? Is it fun? Well, sort of. I'm sure a lot of people would find this more fun than what I do, but, you know, is it believable? Yes, and that's what really matters. This is certainly one of the trickiest cars to drive that I've driven in a while. This is definitely not an easy car to drive, as I just conveniently demonstrated there a little bit. Locking up the right front. Oh man, this circuit looks awesome. Just love the layout. Fantastic addition, I have to say. So I get my turn in all wrong there. That said, I do wish there was a little LED on the steering wheel that showed if I could use DRS or not, because it is kind of out of the way there in that display box. That's just minor griping right there. The power delivery, though, is just insane in this car. And it is an 8-speed gearbox. You probably won't see me use 8th gear just because of the way the gearing is set. Which, obviously, with the gearing rules in Formula 1 this year is kind of interesting and strange with the way that they did it in order to cut cost, which, hey, yeah, we need to cut costs, so make a new 8-speed gearbox, but you can't change the ratios. Okay, makes sense, seems legit. But, you know, obviously the ratios and the way it works out doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be using all of the gears on every circuit. They do say that the AI won't use 8th gear. It's currently a bug and issue right now, but with the way that they've actually set it up in terms of the gear ratios that they've used for the AI, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, other than if you're running, you know, something like the old Hockenheim circuit. Because seventh gear does go up to about 205, 210, so shouldn't be too much of an issue in the grand scheme of things. Woo, almost lost it there. That must certainly not be Maldonado behind me there, because I just saw that in my mirror. I'm like, whoa! There we go, we got to that corner good. I have to say, GameStop Car Extreme may be an old engine. You know, it may not have necessarily all of the super special effects and everything like that. But where it really shines is creating a believable, engaging, fun experience with a wide variety of content, which is why, if you're looking for a sim to start your sim racing career, GameStop Car Extreme is very, very difficult to beat. Oh, come on. I pressed the button a little bit too early. Just the amount of concentration required. It's crazy. Second one on lap 9 of 10. I'm still behind these guys. But then again, I did choose the, certainly not the Marussia team. Choose their skin. I'm actually driving the skin that would belong to definitely not Max Chilton, so I'm actually doing really good! Makes me feel good about my 14th place running right now. See if we get a little bit of a slipstream. I'll break them into turn 2. Ooh, that was close. See if we can get this guy. Massively locking up the right front. It's no good for the tires. He did what? This is an aggressive move right there. I survived. I survived at least. For you guys who have asked for a very long time if I drive a modern Formula 1 car and a sim, there you go. There you go. The question has been answered. It's happened. It's been done. So let's go ahead and switch over to the other new combination that is available, and that is the Formula V, because we'll basically go half speed from here on for the rest of the video. So we have switched on over to Buenos Aires. We've also switched on over into a later time of day. GameStop Car Extreme does have a 24-hour day-night cycle. You can race at night if you would like, although you might find that difficult in the Formula Vs, because as you can see there, there's no headlights. This is essentially an old-school Volkswagen Beetle turned into a entry-level single-seat race car, and therefore that is automatically awesome because they turned a Beetle into a race car. Yeah. Very popular class, I believe especially in Brazil, which isn't necessarily surprising, seeing how this is simulating Brazilian stock cars. That's what GameStop Car is for, despite the fact that you haven't seen a single stock car in this video. It's also used all around the world. You know, in the United States, Formula V is a thing as well. You know, I know in Canada, pretty sure it's also in Europe in some degree, some capacity. I'm sure that, you know, rules vary around the world, but pretty sure this is not a entirely wacko concept, even though it seems like it when you start talking about turning a Volkswagen Beetle into a race car. But they did make like a bajillion other things, so it makes perfectly good sense. Because there are plenty of them out there. They're cheap, they're affordable. There's plenty of parts. Makes perfectly good sense, really does. And I know inevitably people are just going to go straight towards whatever they find coolest. You know, oh my god, the Formula Extreme! Sweet, I'm going to drive that! And never even look at this car at all, which would be a shame. Because this is the type of car that you learn with. This is the type of car that you learn how to understand and drive. And it makes it so that way you can actually drive the Formula Extreme. Now, this is a car that you have to use all three inputs to drive. You have to use your throttle, you have to use your brake, as well as your steering wheel. It's not just about turn left, car go left. It doesn't work like that. That corner is so tricky. So is that one. That's what happens when you turn into one of these things without any throttle and you didn't really account for the lift-off oversteer. It does have a massive amount of lift-off oversteer to the point that it make a classic Porsche 911 look tame. And that might just be the coolest skin in the history of mankind right there. That says grassroots racing right there. Right there. That is a fantastic skin, I must say. But, you know, I think this is a great addition to the game stock car because of the fact that, as I've mentioned before, it is such a quality package for new sim racers. You know, this is a very good way to get into sim racing. It's not going to break the bank to buy a game stock car. You're going to get a wide variety of content. That means you're going to get to try out a bunch of different stuff and see what you really enjoy doing. You know, that might sound strange. A lot of people will probably go, oh, well, you know, I like watching touring car races, so that's going to automatically be what I'm going to want to, you know, race in a sim. But then you try something else, and you see, hey, wait, you know what? This isn't necessarily the type of racing that I enjoy watching, but I really enjoy driving these cars and racing them for myself. It's really exciting. So, you know, I think it's a very good sample platter. You know, it's got a little bit of everything. And a car like this is a very good place to learn how to drive. It's just fantastic. It's a very fun car to drive. Works well within game stock car in the sense that there are a lot of circuits that really this car would be perfectly suited to. And with the Formula Extreme that I showed previously, you need a pretty big circuit for that. You know, if you put this car on that track, it would still work, but the straightaways would be a little bit too long. You know, you basically have time to go ahead and make a cup of coffee before he gets to the next corner. It's not a fast car, but you know, whereas if you raced a Formula 1 car on some of the shorter circuits that are available here in game stock car, it would just be too much. You know, the corners would be coming at you so fast that you could never even get the car up to speed, and it would just not necessarily be all that much fun. Whereas a car like this, you can use any of the circuits that come with the game, you know, and it'll work well. You know, some of them might not necessarily fit the best, but much better than a Formula 1 car in some of the smaller circuits. That can kind of get out of hand. That's kind of crazy. The name of the game really is using all of your inputs and using them in the right amount to make the car go as fast as it possibly can. And that's the same in every car that you will drive in a sim or in the real world. And this is a great place to learn it. And one of the best places to get started with sim racing. It's almost like it's a no-brainer. I have to also say, very glad that they chose to do this car. If I'm not mistaken, Formula V is really popular in Brazil, and that's why they decided to use a Formula V, although, like I mentioned, it's also seen around the world. But, you know, every sim has the Skip Barber car by now, you know. We've seen it everywhere. It's run its course. It's a good car to learn with. You know, just as the Formula V, it's essentially a super Formula V in that sense, but You know, it's like by the time I've driven it enough, it's just like I want something different. And this fits kind of in that same area, and it is different. It's like I've never seen a Formula V in any sim. I'm sure there was a mod out there, you know, for R Factor or whatever, but it's like I've never driven this. This is a car that I'm not familiar with, and that's why it's fun. It's exciting because it's something different to learn. Oh yeah, look at that blazing speed. See, you get in the corner there, a lot of weight on the nose, the rear end's going to come around, counter steer, catch the car. And that's the type of thing that you will learn with a car like this. That's the type of thing that you're going to be able to you're going to need to know if you're going to want to drive something like the Formula Extreme, where the same thing is happening, only at warp speed. Try fourth gear through here, use a little bit more of the torque. I think third is the way to go. Starting to get a little bit darker out here. And to think that they gave this out as free DLC. And there's also something to be said about good developers that aren't trying to go ahead and bend the community over and microtransaction this, microtransaction that. Let's make it free to play. That way we can actually make it very expensive to play. You know, doing anything like that. Just, hey, yeah, here's a game. We're gonna add stuff to it. Hope you guys enjoy the game. Buy the game. Have fun with the game. That's why you should buy the game and have fun with the game. Because it's fun, and plus it's a developer that's actually developing the game and fixing the game and improving the game and adding to the game and not bending you over in the process. And I have to say, I really like that color on that car in front of me. Bit of a slipstream here. Let's see if we can do the same thing into turn one again. A little bit too much power there, but we made it stick. And yep, you definitely cannot miss that car in the rearview mirror. The tidiest line through there, but it'll do. Although I do have one gripe with this car, and that is the dashboard. I'm not sure if it's like that in the real world for any particular reason. I'd assume it's like that in the real car, and that's why it's like that here in the sim, but do I really need to know my fuel that bad? Do I really care about that much? I'd rather see my tachometer, thank you. Fortunately, with a 4-speed gearbox, not going to be shifting a lot with the gear ratios used in this car. You're pretty much only going to be using third and fourth anyway, so. So I wouldn't even consider it that much of an issue. Although we just about lost it. Guy in the fluorescent car, don't hit me colors. Can't see him, so he must be behind me. There he is. Getting too aggressive on the power, but I think we'll be able to hold him off and finish whatever position we are in. So that's Game Stock Car Extreme. There is also one more track that has been added with this update, which is a historic Spielberg, which I'll go ahead and show that, show a lap from there at the end of this video with the Formula Retro within Game Stock Car. But free content is always good, and it's always good when that free content is free Game Stock Car content, because that's some of the best content out there. So roll on that Formula Retro lap, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, Game Stock Car is absolutely awesome. You should go ahead and try it. You should go ahead and buy it. You should go ahead and enjoy it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.